Hello, friends. Welcome to Business Law Academy. My name is Paul, and I'm going to brief today's video session. Today, I'm going to discuss about quasi contract. Quasi contract is not a special type of contract, but it is a contract which is formed as per the provisions of Contract Act. In our usual days, we always part of a quasi contract. Quasi contract has no procedures like a completed contract. In quasi contract, there are some difference between the usual contract. In this class video, I'm going to discuss about meaning of quasi contract, features of quasi contract, types of quasi contract, and difference between contract and quasi contract. Moreover, I will discuss about how to write this quasi contract answer while you facing the examination. So let's begin with what is the meaning of quasi contract. Before I begin with the meaning of quasi contract, let's study a circumstances which led to a quasi contract. Just imagine you are in a railway station and you are waiting for a taxi. You never hired a taxi and that place is totally strange to you. And you are standing in front of the railway station. One taxi driver, a strange taxi driver to you, while analyzing your intention, he come with his taxi in front of you and or he brought his taxi and stopped in front of you. Once you saw that prediction or once you saw that act from A, you already understood the intention of A itself. Without asking anything, you put your baggage in the taxi and show the destination you have to go to the taxi driver. So in this scenario, when you go through a detailed version, just like contract, taxi driver is not giving any kind of offer letter to you, as well as from your part, you are not giving any acceptance, a physical acceptance or a formal acceptance to the taxi driver, that is A. So, in the absence of an offer and acceptance, still you and a taxi driver made an agreement by a voluntary act. By a voluntary act, you and a taxi driver made a agreement. This kind of agreements or contracts are called quasi contract. Once you made or once you gave the consent or consideration for that agreement, then it's just an agreement only. If there is a law related to that agreement, then it became contract. So in taxi driver case, there is a law or a statute which they have to follow. For example, fare tariff or their taxi driving license, like that. There is a law behind that. Or even by using Indian Contract Act, we can bring a quasi contract or a quasi agreement into a quasi contract. So let's again go through the example which I defined here. B arrived at a railway station and stand in front of the railway station for taxi. A taxi driver, who is a stranger to B, predicted B's intention and took his taxi in front of B for giving service to B. Neither B or A made a contract between them, but A took him to a destination and B paid for his service. This type of contract is a quasi contract. Once you giving a consideration, then it became a agreement, and by the provision of Indian Contract Act, it became a quasi contract. We can go through another example. In this picture, it depicts about a scenario or a scene on a railway station. So as you can see, a coolie worker, headload worker, is helping a family by taking their suitcase and baggage and took that to a specific destination for that service. For quasi contract, this is the best example you can memorize uh, for that this kind of contract. However, you can't write this kind of examples in exams. This is just for a understanding purpose only. So let's see with that scenario. As you can see, just imagine you are standing in a railway station and you have a lot of baggage. You want some help to take that baggage and deporting to the some destination. By that intention, you are standing at the railway station, and one headload worker came in front of you, and by his voluntary act, he take your baggage and start walking with you. This is a usual scene when you go to a railway station. But we can't see any kind of agreement or a formal agreement or the procedure of formal agreement between headload worker as well as the owner of that baggage. There will be an exchange of offer and acceptance. What they make some bargain about the price money or price money for the service. So here, how it is related to quasi contract is the owner of that baggage is not at all giving any proposal like tender or any kind of. He's just standing silently. However, by predicting his intention, the headload worker comes in front of him and took his baggage as a voluntary act, that he is ready to do that work for him. So While seeing that act, the owner of the baggage give consent for the service. Here also the head load worker is not giving any offer to the owner of the baggage, or the owner of the baggage is not giving any formal consent. Just like our contract, we are not giving a proposal letter or an acceptance letter respectively for each other. So this kind of absence, the absence of offer letter and uh, acceptance letter or agreement, even stamp paper, registered stamp paper, or any kind of uh, procedure is not following. Still, that agreement or that transaction is an agreement. Then how it became a contract? It became a contract under Indian Contract Act, as well as there is a special law for head load workers also to put the right tariff, reasonable tariff. By the by that or by those laws, Indian Contract Act as well as the head load workers rules give provisions or give or empowering this for implied agreement into a contract. That's how a quasi contract became enforced. Just imagine if the head load worker is demanding a great price money which you can't afford. You can still make a sue against him in front of the police station or railway authority by these rules, reasonable tariff of head load workers. So that's why we can sue as well as he can also sue because of non-performance of quasi contract. Uh, he can also sue for that. That's why this quasi became a contract. As we studied, an agreement which is enforceable by law is a contract. So a quasi agreement which is enforceable by law became a quasi contract. So let's see what are the essential elements of a quasi contract. The first thing is it is a voluntary act of a man from which there is a result of any obligation whatever to a third person. We all study about contract, and in that contract we studied about person who proposing the person is called proposer, and the proposal who receives is called offeree or promisee. So here there is no obligation or a procedure like that. Everyone is stranger to each other. Once they make a agreement, it became a contract on that spot. It is a reciprocal obligation between parties. It's absolutely right, because in the case of head load worker, once he reached in that destination, that owner of the baggage has an obligation to give his service charges, as well as it is the obligation of the head load worker to bring that baggage to the destination which the owner of the baggage prescribe. So this kind of obligations are there between those parties. It is created by law. There is an absence of agreement between parties. There is no agreement between parties. However, by an oral agreement or by an voluntary act, they are making a agreement. And those agreements are recognized by the Indian Contract Act. And that's how it says that it is created by law. It is not a complete contract at all, but one or other essential for the formation of contracts are absent. As I told you before, there is no in quasi contract there is no procedure like offer acceptance protocol. It forms at a second and it fulfilled or satisfied at a moment. Another point is it is an obligation imposed by law, not by contract. In quasi contract, there is no contract or an agreement between parties. It is just an act of voluntary by the act of person. So, under the provision of Indian Contract Act or any other law, as I told you before, there is a special law for head load workers. So, by that, we can claim and sue under the provisions. So, it is imposed by the obligation of law. That's why it says that it is its obligation is imposed by law. Now let's see what is the features. What are the features of quasi contract? The first feature is it is imposed by law, not by agreement. As I told you before, there is no agreement in quasi contract but voluntary act. So it is imposed by law means it is imposed by the Indian Contract Act or any other law which is associated by that transaction. The second one is the duty of a party and not the promise of any party. Here, the difference between contract, in contract, there is a promise. However, in quasi contract, instead of promise, it is the duty of the party. In contract, there is a promise which has to be fulfilled by the parties. In quasi contract, instead of promise, it is the duty. The third point is the right under it is always as the right of money. The right under here is in quasi contract, most of the quasi contract is related to money. When you take the case of head load workers, after his service, you have to give some money for his service money. However, in contract, there are some situations which we can bring a love and affection or any love and affection as a consideration and make a contract. Under section 25, we can take love and affection as consideration. However, in quasi contract, there is no act called love and affection. There is an act, but it will always belong to gracious act. The next point is the right under it available against specific person, not against the world. In quasi contract, one who breached the quasi contract, we can file suit against him only. However, in contract, if any person under a company is breaching that contract, we can file suit against that person as well as that company. However, in quasi contract, only the person, maybe for example, that head load worker, we can file a suit against head load worker, not against their union. A suit for breach may file in the same way in case of complete contract. Even though there is no offer acceptance protocol, still a quasi contract can be or a quasi contract is valid under the law and we can file a suit when a breach happen on a quasi contract. Now let's see types of quasi contract. This is an important topic or a portion for your exam. In exams, there will be a question from this point of portion. It may an essay exam or essay question, short form, even the match the following. Still, the match the following is not using these days, but you can predict or you can expect this part as a question from your for your exam. So let's see what are the types of quasi contract. The first one is supply of necessaries, section 68. The second one is right to recover money paid for another person, section 69. Third one is obligation of person enjoying benefit on non-gracious act, section 70. Responsibility of finder's good, that is section 71. Liability for money paid or thing delivered by mistake or under coercion, section 72. These are the 5 types of quasi contract which is existing in Indian Contract Act. Here, when you write an answer for a question, especially essay question, you have to write point wise point for the first perusal by the examiner. For earning more marks in exam, you have to write the section correct. So it is mandatory to study the section along with the explanation. If you write an essay, the first thing you have to point out your points. Then in each point you have to write that section. Once you did these things in your exam, it will impress the examiner and also it will give a opportunity to you to earn more marks. So try to write the exam by point wise, then write the particular section, then you have to uh, explain it individually. And there is a caution: if you are writing the session, you have to be or you have a great confidence about that session, because if you have a doubtful about the section, particular section, for example, supply of necessary is section 68, but your mind says that it is section 69, and you got in a confusion whether it is 68 or 69. Try to avoid writing the section during that scenario, because if you put a wrong section, then the examiner have a mentality that she has a poor knowledge about this uh, answer, and he will not be impressed even though you write a right answer or right explanation for that section. So first try to put that particular session in a correct order. If you study like these quasi contract types of quasi contract, start from section 68 to 72 in a chronological order, you can learn it easily. So because when I look through the papers, when I pursue the papers, most of the students are confused while writing the session. And even though they write very well in their explanation part, still they will lose the marks uh, while defaulting or putting a wrong section in the mode. So try to study section which you can earn 1 mark each for an explanation. So let's see the first one, supply of necessaries. As per section 68, if a person incapable of entering into contract or any one whom he is legally bound to support, he is supplied by another with necessary suited to his condition in life. The person who furnishes such supplies is entitled to be recover from the property incapable of person. So let's see an example to analyze or to learn this particular session detailing. A supplies B, a lunatic. Here B is a lunatic, he is mentally wrong, with necessary suitable to his condition in life. So A is entitled to B, recover from B's property. Imagine you are helping a person who is a minor, incapable of making a contract, and you supplied a lot of things, necessaries to that person. Once he came to major or he comes to major, you can demand the amount of money you supplied for that person from his property. That is guaranteed by section 68 of Indian Contract Act. Now let's see another one, section 69. Right to recover money paid for another person. These circumstances you always faced or your friends always faced. Just imagine you have a friend called B. So, or just imagine you have a friend called A. So, A borrowed a money from another friend called B. However, this A could not return the money to B due to his financial crisis. C, that is you, a friend of A, return the money to A, return the A's money to B. So, while seeing A's situation, you are interfering with A's money or financial crisis. Instead of giving as a help, or instead of helping A, you take control of the debt of A and gave money, your hard money, to B and discharge A from the B's liability. Here, after the recovery or after A became affluent or rich or he became sound mind or he has some wealth, you can claim money for the B's debt. That is the example is here. C has a right to recover money from A. You can recover that money, particular money from A. That is guaranteed by section 69 of Indian Contract Act. The another one is section 70, obligation of a person enjoying benefit of non-gracious act. When a person lawfully does anything for another person or deliver anything to him not intending to do graciously, and such other person enjoy benefit thereof, later bound to make compensation for the former. Here, just imagine you are helping your friend by giving you a bike. By using that bike, your friend make a business transaction and earn some money with that business transaction. Later, he came in front of you and gave back your bike. In that particular second, you can demand some charges for using that bike, and that is guaranteed by Section 70. Here, there are three conditions which has to be followed once you attach this act under Section 70. The first condition is the things must done in lawfully. So there is no unlawful act, and for an unlawful act, this provision will not be attached. The second thing is the person doing the act should not have intent to do it graciously. So your act must be non-gracious. You are expecting something from your friend as a return while doing this particular help. The third one is the person for whom the act is done must have enjoyed the benefit of the act. So once you did an act which gave a benefit for your friend, then you can claim compensation under Section 70 of Indian Contract Act. Another type of quasi-contract is Section 71, responsibility of finder's good. So let's see an example first, then we will detailedly look through the explanation. X, a guest, found a diamond ring at the birthday party of Y. X told Y and other guests about it. He has performed his duty to find the owner. He is not able to find the owner. He can retain the ring as bailey. So, before I explain about this session, I have to remind you about the bailment. We are going to, in second chapter, in a special contract, there is a provision called bailment. There is a special contract called bailment. In bailer and bailey, and there is a bailer and bailey. We will go through that in our special contract class. But here you have to analyze the situation like this. If you found a ring, just imagine you are walking on a road and you found a diamond ring. So there is an address attached to that ring. So you contacted that person, and that person is on the way to take it back the ring. And you have to keep that ring safe until that owner came in front of you. That is the responsibility of a finder's good. The person who finds something or find goods belong to another has to take reasonable care and custody until that owner has to come. Until the owner reach you. So that is the responsibility of finder's goods. Let's see the explanation. Under Section 71, a person who finds goods belonging to another, take them into custody, is subject same responsibility as bailey. Here bailey, the part is not defined because it is defined under special contract in bailment. So you have to know that you have to just analyze that you have to take reasonable care about the product until the original owner come in front of you. You can't destroy that product or you can't take ownership and possession of the product. or that particular item. Once the owner come in front of you and demand that particular product, you can demand a price money for keeping that product safe, which we detailedly explained in the chapter on bailment. So in this session or in this section, what you have to understand is you have to keep that product safe and sound. The another one of quasi contract is liability for money paid or thing delivered by mistake or under coercion. So let's see the example first. A pays some money to B by mistake. It is really due to C. So A has to pay some money to C. Instead of C, by mistake he paid to B. So it is the B's responsibility to refund that money to A. This same thing is defined in section 72. A person to whom the money has been paid or anything delivered by mistake or under coercion must repay and return to it the person who paid by the mistake or under coercion. Here coercion means forcefully seducing someone to do an act. Forcefully seducing someone to do an act. So anything you have earned or give, then it has to be returned by that party under this section, or you can claim or file suit against that party under this provision. Now let's see the difference between contract and quasi-contract. By comparing the difference in purpose stage, under contract, contracts result from will of the parties expressed by the view to create obligation. In contract, there is a will. It means consent, desire. However, in quasi-contract, the obligation resembling created by contract. In quasi-contract also, there is a will, but it is not exactly like contract. There is no offer acceptance. But the presence of consideration is there in quasi-contract. So that's why it is explained like a quasi-contract is an obligation resembling created by a contract. The second one is formation. Essentials of the valid contracts are present. For an essential contract, there must be offer, acceptance, consideration, protocol. However, in quasi-contract, essentials for the formation of valid contract is absent. There will be no offer, acceptance, protocol or procedure in quasi-contract. Agreement, contract is an agreement. We all know that. But in quasi-contract, there is no existence of a formal agreement. Nature. Due to the protocol, procedure, act, rules, recognition, it is a full-fledged contract. However, in quasi-contract, there is no procedure or protocol. Still, it is recognized by law. Due to that, it is not full-fledged contract. Obligations. In contract, obligations are by the consent of the parties. Obligations are formed by the consent of the parties. However, in quasi-contract, it is imposed by law. There is no consent. I mean, there is a consent like consideration. However, the enforcement comes from the law itself. For say, Indian Contract Act or any other act, rules or circular which is associated by that particular act. These are the difference between contract and quasi-contract. This is also an important question for your examination. Usually 5 marks questions will be there. So these are the types of quasi-contract and features of quasi-contract and definition of quasi-contract and difference of quasi-contract between quasi-contract and contract. I hope you understood the theme of quasi-contract and also my video. I hope you like this video. So please do like and share this video and subscribe for the future videos. Thank you for hearing my class. Have a nice day.